register. You're very welcome. Better figure out what they're doing.
I have to tell Kate that
Well, when you've been remote for 2 years,
Sorry.
Network, which is a 24/7. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's a 24/7 with many sub-series of the show. Love in America, Dating in America, Law and Order, Business Spotlight. I would love for some of you to reach out to me today. Advantage of. Well, shortly after that, John asked me if I would like to MC this year's Vision 2022. Oh my God. At the Tampa Marriott Water Street, who helped us reschedule the event today. Isn't this just a beautiful venue? It's so gorgeous. We're so lucky. This is the Pledge of Allegiance. Would Tom Adderhold please come forward?
I have personally heard and felt it as I travel the world. Our brothers and sisters in uniform protect our homeland throughout the world, and our first responders protect our communities and health, all of whom serve, often enduring hardships and sacrifices. Please stand. First responders, that is fire rescue, law enforcement, if you're here, please stand. And healthcare professionals, please stand. Please remember military veterans, those who are no longer in active service, to please stand. Those retired and fire rescue, please stand. And those who have been healthcare professionals retired, please stand. Hand over your heart and recite in unison. Somebody get started, please. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America. I thank you very much, and may we have a great summit. We missed one for 2 years now.
Experts from our business community will share their insight on current economic positions and what the future that is so much more important than ever. We hope you will find the day rewarding, educational, and beneficial. And presidents. Kelly Flannery, President. And we also have a number of company CEOs and business leaders, 8 Hillsborough County employers, and 1,788 job seekers who are at Workforce Advisory Committee as part of the T3 initiative and Development Council. John also sits on the board of directors for Junior Achievement of Tampa Bay. How do you get it all done? Oh my gosh, John Flanagan, come on up here. And I would really encourage people to watch the show that I did with John and Kay. I mean, so impressive. We are so lucky to have you. You moved here where? From the Midwest, correct?
I mean, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, is that kind of Midwest? No.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming today. We really appreciate your presence. There's a lot of people in the room. There's a lot of folks that ask, well, what do you do at Career Source, or what do you do at a Workforce Development Board? You know, and working on the government side with the opportunities that state, county, and local leaders in government can provide. We like to say we bring
successful. And Career Source facilitates success by providing access to not only one-time opportunities, but multiple opportunities. And what this means for a job seeker is that
with all of these.
The economy. Second, we're going to look at the current state of the economy and those trends and how they were exacerbated during COVID. We're going to take a break from kind of a depressing message, and we're going to talk a little bit about talent attraction in Tampa counties in the United States. Then we're going to talk about the future workforce, things we need to look at, and things that you should be considering. Well, we can't find anybody. Well, you couldn't find anybody in 2019 either. It just got worse. We had labor force participation rate among 55 plus that millennials started to enter the workforce. And the reason why this is important, as they became the largest workforce in our economy, we also went into part-time work, not because they wanted to, but for economic reasons. So what you see here on the next slide is individuals choosing to, specifically in the industries of construction and manufacturing. A lot of jobs were erased over the last 2 years. On the next slide, what you'll see here is unemployment continues to decrease. The rate never followed the same trend line. It's one of the first times we've seen this in our economy. Why aren't we recovering faster? I want to talk about 7 contributing factors that's affecting today's workforce. Immigration typically becomes one of the conversation points. Well, can immigration help fill some of those roles? Absolutely. One thing that's not up there too, another factor that individuals often will ask about is, what about high school students? Typically filling a lot of those entries. In America today, we only have 600,000 unemployed high school students. Not nearly enough to be able to fill some of those jobs that we're seeking for. Our 6th annual talent attraction scorecard just a couple months ago, and we measure 6 contributing factors to this study.
It's just great, it's okay, it's running fine. They're talking to me about they're having problems because of this divide between I have an education, a reluctance to get into manufacturing.
I realized before COVID we do a dozen school tours a year. We've got some good employees.
We've thought about this for years and how we were going to engage people into the construction industry. And so our team had already put a plan together, the gentleman's program before, but we look to give second chance, people who are coming maybe out of the prison system. We look to them and we try to bring them on. Also, we've worked with the school district for years, help them develop a construction program so that the people's mindset could be thinking about construction from the 9th to 12th grades. And now, right now, we were with Addison.
America, which gave birth to my dream. I just didn't know how they got it. Until I began to build relationships in prison, I became culturally conscious. I learned about politics. I built relationships. I'm like, looking like this dude must be crazy. He said, the only difference between you and us is that it's a product. He says, oh, boom, that was my aha moment. You know how Oprah talks about your aha moment? Talk about connecting the dots. That was my aha.
Take our students, but to think about their economic goals. I think Jeff touched on that earlier, that it's one thing to be a strong institution to have opportunity to learn and grow, and gain skills, but I think my esteemed colleagues will touch on this. It's all fine, but I know John introduced them by name, and you've seen their pictures and who they represent. But whenever, I would love to ask you to do this. Before you answer the question, just give us.
Is critical. Also working with them on their employees and what the needs are so that we can make sure we're offering student. And I think my colleagues on the panel would say a lot of the same, that the majority of our students are already working. They just want.
And so, to your, again, point, correcting against that means reimagining it. As a state, called Get There back in 2020. And it's simply fundamentally attempt to just rebrand workforce education and CT.
I want to go back and talk about what we've done, the programs we've created and so forth, but you asked specifically strategies that we would use to attract what you call non-traditional, what we call our everyday faith-based organizations, to express to them the importance of how getting a job can change the trajectory of their lives.
We talk about being able to prepare students for non-traditional students for these types of pathways and programs, and to reimagine what CTE looks like. It's all about exposure. It's all about
Panel so that we could come in. So my apologies to these other. I'm Serena Kazan, your MC, and now I'm just so flattered to be on the panel. Jessica was actually one of my producers when I worked in local television at ABC.
I've had this business for 30, 40, 50 years. I'm ready to do my exit strategy. From your stories, it is the same thing. So as far as leadership style is just being a friend and really learning to listen. What is it that they're telling